Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, October 4th. I'm Byron Scott. Thank you for joining us. Well, a day after police increased patrols at area schools following threats on social media, arrests are made. The suspects are juveniles. One attends Parkdale High School, the other Bladensburg High. Both schools are among several in the county that were threatened on social media. Now, according to investigators, the Parkdale student faces severe charges.
Investigation revealed that the student created a social media account on Twitter and was putting images of scary clown costumes and things like that, at which time they made threats to do harm to people at Parkdale High School. Through various investigative techniques, we were able to identify that student. He was charged with threats of mass violence and other related charges for that.
And police have just announced a third arrest in connection with those threats. The suspect is an 8th grader at Kenmore Middle School. Investigators say he appears to be the one who initially posted the threats on social media. He's been charged with threat of mass violence. And an elderly woman is lucky to be alive after her living room floor collapses early this morning. The woman, who was in her 80s, had a phone in her hand when suddenly her top floor fell to the basement. She was able to call 911. Cameras were not allowed to pass the yellow marked tape in front of the victim's house on the 7500 block of Abington Drive in Oxon Hill. However, fire officials say you can smell a strong mildew odor near what was her front door.
The rescue team didn't rush right into rescue her. They had to assess the situation to prevent any further collapse from occurring. They actually entered in through the rear door of the house, basement level. They cleared away some debris and were able to quickly access her and remove her from the house. We'd ask neighbors to check on neighbors. If you have relatives that are senior citizens and live by themselves, to check on them on a regular basis, not only on them physically, but go into their homes, check their smoke alarms, check the conditions of the house. And if something needs to be fixed or taken care of, do it then.
And the woman was taken to the hospital, but surprisingly, she was not injured. Well, Prince George's Hospital Center reopened its neonatal intensive care unit after shuttering the facility for 2 months when a bacterial infection was discovered. The NICU closed on August 10th after 3 babies tested positive for Pseudomonas, a potentially deadly bacterium. Now, 2 infant deaths at the unit remain under investigation. Hospital officials say they've implemented numerous improvements and upgrades, including disinfecting and treating the plumbing system and creating a long-term water monitoring plan. Hospital staff is also being trained on early identification and treatment of sepsis, a life-threatening side effect of the disease. And good news for thousands of Marylanders who bought health coverage. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 31,000 residents who have purchased health insurance may be eligible for tax credits if they shop for 2017 coverage through the Affordable Care Act marketplace. 6.9 million Americans have bought coverage through off-marketplace providers. Open enrollment for next year runs from November 1st to January 31st of 2017. And Governor Larry Hogan concludes his last round of chemotherapy. He was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in June of 2015 and underwent his last treatment on Monday at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore. Doctors found more than 60 tumors throughout his body. Now, Hogan flexed his biceps on Facebook, as you can see, saying he plans to make the most of every single day that he has. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.